Let's meet tonight's starting lineups. First for St. Joseph's College, an outside hitter, Holbrook, New York, number 3, Paul Carraro. An outside hitter from Lindenhurst, New York, number 8, Will Floor. Middle blocker from Holbrook, New York, number 13, Matt Cole. Middle blocker from Holbrook, New York, number 14, Kyle Biggers. Center from East Meadow, New York, number 18, Jason Servant. Opposites from Manorville, New York, number 20, Kyle Allen Warito. And St. Joseph's Libero is from Lake Grove, New York, number 7, Michael Moscow. The Eagles head coaches, 4th year Bill Kopp, and the assistant coaches, Danny McNamara. Now tonight's starters for your Baruch College Bearcats. And outside hitter from Port Washington, New York, number 3, Stephen Lopez. Middle hitter from Staten Island, New York, number 6, David Cherchenko. The center from Jackson Heights, New York, number 18, Stallone Shankar. And right side hitter from Brooklyn, New York, number 11, Artem Zinkin. At middle hitter from Forest Hills, New York, number 17, Meni Mushev. At outside hitter from Plainview, New York, number 18, Justin Llewellyn. And the libero from Rego Park, New York, number 9, Rabsang Adruksang. Brooks. Head coach in his 4th season is Kevin Edwards, and the assistant coach is Christy Encarnacion.
Hey, we played it off though.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another matchup here at the Arc Arena with your Baruch College Bearcats taking on the Golden Eagles of St. Joseph's College, Long Island. I'm Brian Flannery, and I'm joined here with Jake Rudin. And Jake, we got a good one here tonight.
Yes, we do, Brian. Nowhere I'd rather be on a Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time than the Arc Arena, to be quite honest. A great matchup tonight. Last year when the teams faced off, St. Joe's Long Island went up to an early 2-0 lead on their home court before the Bearcats battled back and had an underdog victory, winning 3-2, silencing St. Joe's on their home court. Let's see if some of that energy can transfer over tonight. Now, Brian, I know you love drama. There's some Division III men's volleyball drama right now going on with St. Joe's Long Island. Are you familiar with the NBA, Brian?
The NBA?
Yes, the National Basketball Association. What Kevin Durant did to the Oklahoma City Thunder joining Golden State. St. Joe's Long Island has lost their 3-year starting right side to New Paltz Hawks as he went ring chasing. So let's see how they can bounce back from that, Brian.
Very well. And yeah, we saw New Paltz last week. Definitely a tough test for the Bearcats as they fell in 3.
Right side played a bit in that match, Matthew Ambridge.
But yeah, they fell in 3, and hopefully they can respond here tonight at home, try to get back on the winning ways at the Arc Arena.
St. Joe's Long Island recently beat Hunter College in a thrilling 3-2 victory.
Again, Baruch sporting their new jerseys. Looks like we're rolling with white Asics.
Look good, play good, Brian. That's the old saying. Let's see if that relates tonight.
Of course. So Stallone Shankar will get us started as he drops back to serve.
First serve in the match, folks. Hope you're on the edges of your seat back home. I know we are in the arena.
And Shankar will go back row.
Ooh, that might have been a double.
No call there, though, as Bearcats play on. Here's Zinkin. He goes back row, dug by St. Joe's. A little bit of a down ball there, dug by Lulian. Shankar set up the middle. Another nice dig there by St. Joe's to keep the volley alive. Bearcats going to the outside with that. Once again, nice save there by St. Joe's. One-hand dig by Baruch. Let's see if they can keep it alive. 3 balls into the net, and St. Joe's gets the first point.
And you know, Brian, the key to this game is going to be running the Baruch right side. St. Joe's College Long Island is a very competitive team, but for their level that they compete at, for the Division III level, they have remarkably short outside hitters. So last year when the Bearcats matched up, Artem Zinkin and Andrew Soros had career nights, as the outside blockers just could not stop them at all.
And speaking of Zinkin, getting right in the middle of the action there. St. Joe's. And it's going to be a Bearcat point as St. Joe's went through their right side. Just looked like he angled it a little bit too far out of bounds, and we are tied here at 1. Stephen Lopez dropping back to serve.
Interesting serve receive here by St. Joe's. They're hiding their libero. You don't see that very often, Brian.
Lopez goes back row. And that ball way out.
And you can really see the size mismatch up front there,
yeah.
Brian. Number 8 for St. Joe's Long Island is 5'9", going up against Artem Zinkin, who's 6'5".
So, yeah, definitely a little bit of a height mismatch there. Let's see how that plays out down the stretch as St. Joe's puts that one away pretty easily. That's number 3, Paul Carraro, out of Sachem North. See a lot of Sachem boys on this roster, whether it be from North or East. Both programs renowned on a year-by-year basis out on Long Island. And I'd say pretty much this entire roster, for the exception of 1 or 2 guys, is coming out of the 631 in Suffolk County, Jake. So some of the hometown boys here tonight at the Arc Arena as St. Joe's commits the service error.
Bearcats lead 3-2.
So we got some subs and some new faces here.
Yeah, junior middle blocker Evan Tacos is sitting this game out with a foot injury. We hope to have him back soon, Brian. So freshman middle blocker David Sorencho is in form, and he's wearing my old number, Brian, number 6, so you love to see that.
And Bigger's looking to put that one away, but just unable to angle his wrist properly, and another ball sent into the bleachers by St. Joe's.
Looks like he's looking at his hand a bit there, Brian. I think that hit his fingers kind of funny. It's blown into his hand. Looks like he's a little cold right now, Brian. Let's see if he can heat up.
Baruch goes back row again. Sent over on 3 this time from the outside.
Oh, kept alive by Zinkin, and Lopez couldn't corral it.
And again, you love to see that effort out of Lopez, just unfortunately with the one-hand dig, unable to send it over on 3. So St. Joe's responding right back. And we have a lot of back-and-forth volleyball thus far.
And that's the best type of volleyball to watch, Brian, other than a Bearcat shutout victory.
So now David Slager will drop back to serve out of Sayville, New York.
Oh, Manny Musayev with the kill. The Moose, and the fans are putting up the Moose antlers for Manny Musayev.
Yeah, it's good to see Manny getting going early again. Last year, most of our viewers know that Manny led the NCAA in blocks per set. So again, big presence, whether it be offensively or defensively, but Zinkin put a lot of steam behind that one. And St. Joe's, once again, just having trouble here angling the ball. There's that one sent into the Bearcat bench.
And you know, Brian, last year the Bearcats led the nation in blocks per set as a team, not only having the best blocker in the nation, but the best blocking team. And you have to wonder with an undersized St. Joe's Long Island if that's in their head right now, Brian.
And that really seems to be the game plan as Zinkin goes back row once again. St. Joe's is trying to hang on here. Really nice one-hand dig, but that one's going to be a few feet out of bounds. So St. Joe's will get the ball back and the point. But again, you like to see the approach here early by the Bearcats, which is really to utilize their height. And you're seeing St. Joe's kind of playing on their heels thus far.
And also, something that surprised me to this point in this match, Brian, was how aggressive the Bearcats have been serving, because last week that was a little bit of an issue for them.
Yeah.
Ooh, that might have been another double, Brian.
And it's going to be a point for St. Joe's there, as it's a tool. That shot was actually pretty low too, Jake. I don't know if the Bearcats...
Yeah, sometimes you just shouldn't go up the block, Brian. That looks like a ball that was not going to go into the court.
I agree.
Went off Bearcat hands, and St. Joe's Long Island point.
Here's Alulian going for the tip. One-hand dig by St. Joe's, thrown over on 2. And Musayev trying to get it, just tipped over the front row, but unfortunately a little bit too down into his jump. And
yeah, that's a very tough set to run. You love to see the Bearcats trying it, but just the execution wasn't there, Brian.
And Baruch setting to Musayev up the middle for an easy kill.
Yeah, it looks like he caught the libero guessing there, Brian. Manny didn't get all that ball, but it looked like the libero for St. Joe's Long Island was expecting Manny to drill that. Baruch College point.
So Justin Alulian will drop back to serve. He's going with a nice conservative float serve there. St. Joe's. Off some hands in the Baruch front row. Zinkin tried to save it in the back, but unfortunately that one goes into the stands, and St. Joe's will get the point, as we are now tied here at 7.
And even though that ball was in the air for about a minute, Brian, once the ball passes the benches, you aren't allowed to pursue and play it.
See, I don't know what I'd do without you, Jake.
Neither do I, Brian.
And Lopez puts that away. Nice kill there for Steven Lopez. We're going to have a sub here for Baruch. As Serchenko checks back in, and Musayev drops back to serve for the Cats.
And once again, a very interesting serve-receive rotation for the Golden Eagles tonight, Brian, as they do not have their libero in serve-receive. Baruch's been putting a lot of pressure on them from the line. Maybe that's going to switch up later in the match.
And St. Joe's coming with their outside there. Really big swing. Ball got caught up in the rafters. Musayev just tried to save it. Unable to do so, as Biggers will check back in for the Golden Eagles. Once again, we're tied here, 8 apiece.
A lot of good mustaches on the court tonight, Brian.
Yeah, St. Joe's definitely bringing the mustache energy. Not only in November, I'm sure, but really just letting it go throughout the season. As here's Zinkin going back row. St. Joe's back row unable to dig that one. Goes right back into the notorious red bleachers here at the Arc Arena.
Bearcat red, Brian.
Stallone Shankar dropping back to serve.
Bearcats lead 9-8.
Jump serve. He'll go back row just a little bit out there. Again, a nice aggressive serve out of the Bearcats. You just want to see them be careful with that down the stretch once it gets closer and closer to that 25-point mark.
Yeah, there becomes a point in the match, Brian, we don't need to put pressure on with the serve. We just need to keep it in when you're such a taller team than the other team.
Yeah, we talk about conservative serving all the time as Musayev just... Oh, sorry, that wasn't Musayev.
That was Lopez.
Yeah, Lopez.
Combination, running a two ball out of the middle. Looks like he just didn't get a full snap on that ball and it kind of knuckled out of bounds.
Yeah.
That looked pretty close to me, Brian.
Yeah, definitely a nice combo there coming with Lopez. Shankar going to Serchenko through the middle. St. Joe's right side. That one's tooled out of bounds. And now the Golden Eagles taking their biggest lead of the match thus far, 11-9. But again, you're seeing a lot of back and forth volleyball, and you really want to see both sides keep this up as long as it goes. Here's Zinkin now.
Tooling the small block. Let's see if Artem Zinkin can heat up. That was a real key to the Bearcats last season when they faced off against St. Joe's College, Long Island.
Yep, and Zinkin, able, like you said, able to get the tool there. See if Baruch can continue to bring the heat, whether that be from the service line or that front row. So here's Lopez coming with a nice serve. St. Joe's back set to the outside, and it's going to find some real estate in the back there.
Yeah, looks like the Bearcats' sixth defender got caught in a little shallow. Kyle Biggers just took a knee on the court. Might have hurt himself a bit on that play. Didn't see exactly what happened there, Brian.
Yeah, it looks like Biggers getting a little bit beat up early on here in set number 1.
Looks to be wincing a bit on the court. Doesn't exactly look comfortable out there.
That's a really nice serve coming out of St. Joe's. And Serchenko off some hands, and that's going to be a kill.
Heard that one in the booth, Brian. Definitely got some hands on that swing.
As Musayev checks back in, as well as Sonim Dorji, as Dorji will drop back to serve for Baruch.
The Golden Eagles might be out of rotation. Nope. Apparently they were good.
Sent over on one, and easy put back there for Musayev.
Musayev identified that the setter was back row for the Golden Eagles there, so he knew he didn't have to go up and give the ball everything he had because that setter wasn't allowed to go up and block it.
And you just love, if you're the other team, seeing it sent over on one, and then it's just an easy layup there for Musayev to just put it away. As Baruch commits the untimely service error. A few subs on both sides.
David Slager in to serve for the Golden Eagles, number 24. That was my number back in high school, Brian.
Coming with a back row serve there, dug by Lopez. Shankar backs at Zinkin, off some hands in the front, kept alive by St. Joe's. Now they're coming through the outside, tipped over the front row. And that's going to be a pretty clear double.
And even if it was a clean set, Artem Zinkin wasn't allowed to take a swing on that because the libero can't hand set the ball in front of the 10-foot line. That would have been a back row attack.
Again, that's why you're here, Jake. Going back row again to Lopez. Shankar setting Musayev up the middle.
Absolutely clinical tonight, Brian. Absolutely clinical.
Yeah, the Bearcats doing a very good job of getting their middles going. And again, when you're talking about a height mismatch, that's really where you want to maybe exploit that.
Especially because in the past few years, the strength of St. Joe's Long Island has really been the middle. So to really attack that early sets a message for the whole match.
So Zinkin commits a service error there. And Will Floor out of Lindenhurst will now serve for St. Joe's. Nice serve there. Shankar sends it over. Tipped over the front row for Baruch. Looking for the one-handed dig, unable to get it. So it's going to be a Bearcat timeout as Coach Kevin Edwards and the team talk it over here and try to slow down this St. Joe's offense. So we'll be back in a few moments. And we are back in action here at the Arc Arena as St. Joe's has pulled away with a little bit of a deficit here. Musea putting the pressure. And real nice move there just to send it over on one.
And that was like 2 plays in a row, Brian. The Bearcats got caught sleeping there. It looks like 2 easy digs that they missed. Hate to see it.
You really do, and you just want Baruch to really get back to playing some clean volleyball. Seems to got away from their game plan a little bit too much as that ball was off the rafters.
And like that, a 5-point lead for St. Joe's Long Island. Bearcats are a little cold, Brian. It's like they spent the night in the refrigerator. And you hate to see that after a timeout. You need to come out hot and energetic and fire.
So it came out a little bit flat here in the latter portion of set number 1 as that ball barely sent over on 3 by Baruch. Nice block there by Musayev, kept alive by the Golden Eagles. That one angled over. Shankar is going to set Alulian. A little bit of a roll shot over that front row. Now tipped over, dug by Zinkin. Shankar sets Musayev. Musayev just got fingertips on the ball, enough to create a little bit of a weird spin and find some real estate in the back row.
We call that a paintbrush in the industry, Brian, 'cause it looks like you're painting the ball.
Call it what you want, but it's a kill for Musayev, and Baruch finally putting end to that St. Joe's run as Justin Alulian is on to serve. 50-50 ball. Now down ball from St. Joe's. Musayev tipped over the front row, dug by St. Joe's. Ball coming to the booth. It's going to be a tool.
St. Joe's Long Island pulls ahead 19-14. And this is like the Golden Eagles have a little more energy right now on the court, Brian.
So Matt Cole now to serve. Cole out of Sachem East. Shankar tipping it over on 2, and
ooh, got a little lucky there. The Golden Eagle was in the net.
looking like a little bit of a net violation there.
Yes, that's exactly what it was, Brian. And Stallone Shankar got lucky because that wasn't his best dump he's ever had.
Back set now, coming from the right side. Big kill there. Out of Kylan Allen Morabito out of ESM on Long Island.
Ooh, and almost too many men on the court, Brian. You don't see that very often. The Golden Eagles almost had 7 players out there. And like that, the server was iced. Maybe the long wait got him thinking. Bearcats point.
Stallone Shankar will drop back to serve. Bearcats really need to string together a nice run here. You don't want to keep St. Joe's on the board, but Biggers puts that one away.
First kill of the night for Kyle Biggers. He's normally the heart and soul of this St. Joe's Long Island team. The Bearcats have to really commit to not letting him get hot.
Alulian will go to Shankar, set through the middle, and once again, Biggers getting on the board.
Looks like a bit of a trap set there, Brian. Wasn't much the Baruch middle could do as he was kind of set into the block. Real tough swing, but a nice block once again by Kyle Biggers.
As Shankar, he's going to go to Zinkin.
And all out of sorts. The Baruch offense that just came out of that timeout pretty cold.
And you're really seeing Biggers get involved here.
Ooh, and a little bit of rowdiness on the St. Joe's Long Island bench. The refs are telling him to stop it. It's a player who's injured. You don't see that very often, Brian.
Lopez is going to go to Shankar. Now back to Lopez, off some hands in the front, and Baruch finally answers back. And again, the Bearcats really needing to get hot here if they want to stay alive in set number 1.
Trail by 6 here, Brian, but last year when they faced off, the Bearcats had a similar deficit they clawed out of, so let's see if they can do it here.
Here's Steven Lopez. He'll go back row. Set now from the outside. That ball goes out of bounds, and it's a Bearcat point.
Yeah, St. Joe's Long Island is asking for a touch, but I don't think there was one there, Brian. Bearcat point.
See if Lopez can string together a little bit of a service run here. He goes back row once again. Now set to the outside. And that ball just found the back line.
The Bearcats' 6th defender all season is being caught a little bit shallow.
And that's really been the weakness for the Bearcats thus far in 2020, as it's now set point for St. Joe's Long Island.
You know, this match was just, I think, 13-14 at one point, Brian. Now it's 24-18. St. Joe's is really coming alive when it matters most in the second half of this set.
Free ball from the Cats. And nice big block there by Artem Zinkin.
I read that combination all the way, and that's what you have to do when you see the outside hitter coming in for an inside ball. It's the right side block, and you take 3 steps inside and just shut off his angle. That's exactly what Zinkin did there.
Yeah, Zinkin out of Brooklyn, but the roster should really say Russia, as he was born and came over, but he brings a ton of strength to this table, and you really saw it on display there.
Yeah, the Russian Rocket, he's called in the locker room.
Back set to Zinkin.
Oh, kept alive. Free ball by Zinkin.
Beautiful one-handed dig by Lopez in the back row. Let's see if St. Joe's can put it away, and they did exactly that, as they take set number 1 by a score of 25-19. We'll be back in 3 minutes for set number 2.
In New York City, there is a place for people that want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, where if you work hard, the possibilities are endless. A place to learn, train, and play. In that order, the City University of New York Athletic Conference. This is where it all comes together. Find your people, be a part of a team, and don't just play the game. Change the game. Champions aren't born, they're built. The City University of New York. Be exceptional.
Arc Arena, we're back. Second set. Division III volleyball action, Brian. Exciting time to be a Bearcat.
Here's Lopez going back row. Back set now for St. Joe's. Dug by Libero, 50-50 ball. Shankar keeps it alive. Alulian now back to the Libero. Played by St. Joe's.
Ooh, the Baruch Libero ate that.
And that tip just unable to time that one, coming from all the way in the back row. So St. Joe's earns an early, hard-fought first point. Sent over on one by Baruch, and an easy putback for Biggers there.
Stallone Shankar is a little late there going up to block. As a front row setter, you have to realize that ball's going over really fast and turn your body and square your shoulders so you can put your hands over the net.
Here's Lopez. Blocked by St. Joe's, kept alive by Baruch. Zinkin now coming with a down ball.
That's a back row attack. Artem Zinkin stepped on the line. Looks like the Bearcats are swinging for a tool, Brian, which is when you put the ball off the block and out of bounds, but they just haven't been able to find that snap of the wrist yet.
And that one way out. So it's going to be a service error, and we'll get Baruch on the board and the ball back as they trail 3-1. Again, you saw a lot of back-and-forth volleyball early on in set number one, but then at one point, St. Joe's went on a run, Jake, and they pretty much put it out of commission for Baruch.
Well said, Brian. Baruch just ran out of gas. They started the match off hot, but around the halfway mark, kind of lost their energy. Great dig by the Libero. Oh, Lopez swinging for the tool again, but can't quite find it.
And that one off Biggers' face, kept alive by St. Joe's, though. Down ball, more of a free ball there. Coming back from the outside, and a big block there by Justin Alulian, and Artem Zinkin going up with him.
A very versatile freshman for the Bearcats. He's seen time in almost every position this far this season.
Yeah.
Let's see where he can really find his groove moving forward.
Of course, you got to love his versatility, but also the maturity and the poise that he brings to the court as a freshman. He does not look like a freshman, Jake.
Well said, Brian. You know why? It's because he's from Plainview Volleyball. That's exactly what Plainview Volleyball teaches.
Only legends come out of Plainview Volleyball, as we know.
Nick Godino, Brendan Murphy, Brian and Steve Caniglio. The list goes on.
As Lopez unable to corral that one.
The Bearcat defenders has been caught sleeping all night, Brian. Looks like they don't really understand their assignments and aren't reading the game quick enough. Let's hope they can change that moving forward.
So St. Joe's has pretty much dissected Baruch from a defensive standpoint. Obviously, the Bearcats came out firing on an offensive side, and they did a pretty good job early on, but St. Joe's now just able to pick apart that back row and a lot of the defensive miscues that you're seeing now. Here's Lopez. Kept alive by Zinkin. Back set from Shankar to Zinkin. They're going to call it double.
A little questionable of a double call there, Brian. Can't say I disagree with the refs, but I just hope that gets called both ways.
Here's Alulian tipped over the front row. That ball sent over by St. Joe's. Baruch almost didn't realize. Alulian once again blocked. Shankar going to Lopez now. Another dig by Baruch. Lopez again.
St. Joe's putting on a blocking clinic, Brian.
And that's number 8, Will Floor.
This isn't their MO. It's a very interesting volleyball that they're playing.
And that one just found an inch.
I don't know, Brian. I thought that was out on the home court.
So did I, Jake. So did I.
Court, you hope to get that call, but apparently the line judge saw in, and I don't see much argument from the Baruch bench. So
now, is it like baseball where if the ball touches any part of the line, it's in?
Any part of the line, Brian. And that's when it gets very interesting at the international level with video replay, because they have sensors on the court and cameras that mimic where the ball actually would touch, because oftentimes the whole area of the ball doesn't touch the ground.
Understood. So Shankar going outside to Lopez. And a big swing there from the senior.
Taking care of business, Steven Lopez.
Lopez will not now drop back to serve. And you love to see the kill and then that serve combination bring a little bit of momentum into that service line.
Yeah, affect the game from all aspects.
St. Joe's going over on 3, blocked in the front row by Baruch, but kept alive. Back set. St. Joe's, no double call there, but you and I both saw it.
Yeah.
Here's Zinkin now, looking for that back corner pocket, but unable to get it.
I think even the St. Joe's bench accidentally let out an ewe there, Brian, because even they kind of agree that that set could have been cleaner.
So Bearcats once again finding themselves in a tough hole. They're really going to want to get the ball back and regain momentum to stay in this set. But Jake, we did see last year you guys fell 2-0.
Ooh, and
big swing there. Nothing.
Little miscommunication. That's Steven Lopez's seam right there, so that's his ball to take.
That's Carraro once again coming with the heat from the service line.
The story of tonight for the Bearcats has been kind of moving through mud, Brian.
And but yeah, you guys fell 2-0 last year. Came back to win it in 5.
Yeah,
so
you need to win 3 to win a match, Brian.
Anything's possible. Another big serve out of Carraro.
And St. Joe's Long Island is a very high-energy, explosive team, and if you can kind of quiet them and take away what gives them their energy, it's really easy to stop them.
Zinkin coming through the middle. He's got tied up in the net there a little bit.
And that is not what the Bearcats needed. And the freshman comes in for Zinkin. Number 14, Leon Petrovitsky, also from Brooklyn, and he's also 6'5".
You see Carraro in a really nice service run here. Once again, bringing the steam.
Handled by Lopez. Ooh, and we talked about it in a previous broadcast. Number 15, Defang Han, is ambidextrous, so it looks like he brought the lefty swing out of nowhere there, and kind of surprised the St. Joe's Long Island block. I don't even think they realized what they saw there, Brian.
No, and Defang Han coming in with a lot of leverage on that ball, too. He listed as 6'1", but looks a little bit taller. As Alulian just looking to float it over there, but that one is a foot or so out of bounds. Bigger subbing out, but not before he lets the St. Joe's bench know that he's coming.
You can hear him before you see him sometimes, Brian. He's a loud gentleman. Kind of like in the cartoons when you hear the tuba as someone's walking. That's Kyle Biggers on the court with his energy.
So back set, now to Petrovitsky, rolled off the net, kept alive. Pipe attack from Carraro. And was that a back row violation, Jake?
Yes, that was.
Look at me, man.
The back row attacker. Brian, I'm impressed. I'm crying a tear of joy. I'm seeing you grow as a volleyball fan and broadcaster. This is beautiful.
I appreciate it.
This is what life's about, Brian, growth.
Petrovitsky just floating that one over to the back row. St. Joe's now coming with some steam from that outside position, but that ball sent out of bounds. And Baruch now chipping away at that lead a little bit.
Looked like a nice contact, but the swing is only as good as where it lands, Brian, so there might have been a good contact, but that ball was out.
Petrovitsky going to the same spot. Back set now for St. Joe's right side. Shankar is going to set Musayev.
Oh!
And what a funky move there by Musayev to send it over. He pretty much faked his right hand, which is his dominant swinging hand, and then came back, tipped it with his left over that front row, and just found a campfire beautifully.
Looks like a little miscommunication. The setter's looking at the middle, and the middle's looking at the setter, and the middle thought he was running a 31 there, Brian, but the setter was setting a 1 ball, and like you said, a real athletic play by the Moose to keep that ball alive. And
those are the kind of volleyball plays and the volleyball IQ you cannot teach there, Jake.
Yeah, you can't teach that, Brian.
So now Floor to serve for St. Joe's. Shankar sets Musayev through the middle. Now going to Defang, and Defang with the big southpaw once again.
Hey, and you see the St. Joe's bench talking to each other and looking, did he just swing lefty on that ball? And yes, they did, Brian. Yes, he did.
And now Defang Han will drop back to serve, but you just love to see the energy he's bringing here tonight.
And you have to think Coach Edwards told him a little preset hype speech saying, hey, you jump higher than these guys. You're stronger than these guys. Just swing over them. And that's exactly what he's doing.
And not only that, but he's really been a spark plug off the bench. Ever since he came on the floor, Jake, Bearcats have been on a pretty nice run here.
That's exactly what happened last time when the Bearcats faced St. Joe's Long Island. It wasn't Defang Han, but it was a lot of bench energy that came in and won the set.
And that one just a little bit out of bounds. Musayev looking for some fingertips. Bearcats don't get the call. St. Joe's will get the ball back, but Not before Defang Han strung together 3 or 4 consecutive points there.
And like that, Cats trail 9-13. Oh.
Han will now go to Lopez. Lopez angles that one to the back row. Nice dig there by the Bearcats libero. Here's a pipe attack. Defang Han puts it away. Let's go.
A lot of energy out of Defang Han right now, Brian, and the Bearcat bench is back into it. Cats trail 10-13. Kind of a broken play there. The second ball wasn't taken by the setter, but Defang Han put it away anyway.
Defang Han really getting the Arc Arena going here tonight. A little bit of a subdued Thursday night non-conference contest, but the energy's as St. Joe's is out of rotation.
Oh, and that's, Brian, the rotations don't change at all from when you're 13 to when you're 20-something, and that's a mental error by St. Joe's Long Island.
So the officials will discuss it with Coach Kropp. Coach Kropp, prior to his tenure at St. Joe's, I believe he coached Sachem East out on Long Island.
And that's the right call, Brian. The libero was out of rotation for St. Joe's.
So that should be pretty much all it takes to get the Bearcats back in this one, as they've completely regained the momentum here. Musaev, nice float serve. Again, love that at this point in the set.
Yeah, just keep the ball in and let your players go to work.
Tipped over the front row. Off balance by Alulian, but kept alive. Lopez now tipping it over the front row.
Ball came back to the Bearcat side.
Shankar and Lopez connecting there, but the set was a little bit out of place for Alulian, and St. Joe's will...
Yeah, it looks like he kind of got set on his left shoulder, but he isn't ambidextrous like Defang Han, so he can't swing on that, Brian.
And a pretty blatant service error there, as that one goes into the bottom of the net. And Artem Zinkin will check back in for Baruch, and let's see if Artem can really be a spark plug now, as he's a little bit rested, has some fresh legs underneath him, hopefully.
Sometimes all you need to do is have a little bit of time to come off the court, internalize, and catch your breath, Brian.
Internalize, that's a good word there, Jake.
That's a big word, Brian.
Stallone Shankar going back row. Outside for Carraro.
Oh, great dig by the middle.
Defang Han going to Lopez. Lopez off Bigger's hands. Played by Defang. Shankar going back to Lopez. Nice roll shot there off the bottom of his palm. Alulian now. Ball almost caught up in the rafters. Back set for St. Joe's. Here's Zinkin.
Ooh, and looks like that ball just hit him in his wrist instead of on his palm and just went slightly out there.
So again, tough break for the Bearcats on what was a really nice volley on both sides. Baruch really needs to fight back now. Here's Zinkin.
Oh,
and that's going to be a point for the Bearcats. Looks like it's going to be some fingertips there, Jake.
Yeah, number 8's a real scrappy gym rat for the Golden Eagles, and he's trying to prove himself. He's a much shorter than Zinkin. It looks like he just really wanted to block Artem for the story, I guess, Brian, and got caught in the net.
Here's Lopez now, goes right back to him, handcuffs him. Lopez. Now to Shankar, Lulian up the middle. Kept alive by Shankar. Now here's Zinkin, winding up, goes back row. Ball nearly caught up in the rafters once again. Outside for Carraro.
Oh, and the Bearcat defenders got caught stranding straight up on that play, Brian.
Yeah, that ball kind of found its way through Lulian's hands in the block. So much so that it killed the momentum on the ball, and it just found some real estate.
As a defender, you have to be low and ready because you never know what's going to happen off that block.
Yeah, so now Carraro dropping back to serve for St. Joe's, and presumably is the guy you want back there, as he's bringing a ton of heat. Sent over on one by Defang Han. Biggers coming through the middle. Zinkin trying to keep that one alive as it's hit up into the 7th row of the bleachers.
Acrobatic play by the Zink, but he just couldn't keep that ball alive.
Again, a lot of second chance effort and hustle there out of Baruch, and really St. Joe's. You're seeing a lot of effort and hustle plays on both sides thus far through 2 sets.
Looks like Zinkin might have a little bit of a tight back as he's stretching out right now. Got to hope the Russian Rocket starts feeling healthy.
Here's Carraro again, looking to just roll that one over.
Yeah, and that was double out, Brian. That was outside of the antenna and outside of the court.
Yeah, just trying to get a little deceptive there, almost like a pitcher throwing an off-speed pitch, as he came with what's been a ton of steam, and then that one looking for a little bit of a roll shot.
Now, for some of the new volleyball fans watching right now, Brian, the libero has to come off the court in this rotation because the libero is not allowed to serve in the men's game. And like that, a tool by the Golden Eagles.
And again, once Bearcats find themselves trailing by 3, as they can hopefully put an end to this St. Joe's lead, you'd love to see them come back, take set number 2, and bring all that energy and momentum into set number 3, tied.
But it really feels like we're seeing a different Bearcat team the second half of this set, Brian.
And again, a costly service error there for St. Joe's, because this could be all it takes to get Baruch back in it.
Exactly.
Petrovitsky now subbing in for Zinkin and dropping back to serve.
The last time he was at the line, he was very good at having a nice conservative float serve and letting his blockers do the work.
And that one going up and just kind of a swing and a miss there, Jake.
Yeah, you know, let's credit Many with the stat, but that was really just a hitting error by number 20 on St. Joe's Long Island. Kyle Allen Morabito just missed that ball and hit it into the net.
Another good serve there, just getting it over. St. Joe's now coming with their outside. Big, easy kill there. That is number 13, number 13, Matt Cole. Getting to see a lot of seniors on this St. Joe's squad, so a lot of leadership, a lot of veteran presence on the floor.
Yeah, 4-year program, so a lot of these seniors have been with St. Joe's since day 1, Brian.
Musayev able to tip that one over. Pipe attack, looked like a pipe attack for Carraro, but unable to get the tip.
Yeah, let's call that a block by Musayev. I think he might have got a piece of it. Even if he didn't, Carraro was about 15 feet under the net.
So Defang Han will drop back to serve. Coming with a big lefty swing, but not necessarily the approach you need in this point in the set as he commits a service error.
Well, you know, he is so versatile, Brian. If you saw a lot of second balls he takes, and some of the boys tell me in practice, sometimes he'll step in the setting rotation and show off his hands.
So that one goes back row to Brooks Libero. Here's Lopez.
With the tool.
As Justin Alulian will check back in.
And the double sub. The middle back in for the Bearcats. No Libero. Many Musayev is at the line. Bearcats trail 18-20.
Again, Musayev's a guy who can really bring you back into it from the service line. Back set now for St. Joe's.
Oh, and that's 4. Bearcat point. That ball was into the top of the tape. And, you know, looks like there's a little bit of miscommunication with the Golden Eagles. You can see the coach on the sideline telling them, set every ball outside. That's the smallest block for Baruch is their setter. But the setter for St. Joe's Long Island has done the exact opposite, Brian. He set every position but the outside since his coach told him that. I wonder if there's some tension in the locker room or on the practice room.
And Carraro getting St. Joe's back into it as they respond, but not before the Bearcats strike for a few points.
Number 20 is serving for the Golden Eagles. He missed contact his last swing, and he missed contact. Oh, and he didn't miss contact that serve.
A little bit of a back row miscue.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important to follow the ball back. Every Bearcat's taking steps forward and saying out or out when you really have to be taking steps back and following it. But like that, the missed contact, the serve giveth and the serve taketh away, Brian.
So now Stallone Shankar. Coming with the high jump serve. He'll go back row with the service ace.
Ace in your face, Brian. Get that ball. Get that ball. It's a game ball. It's in the ball cart. Get that ball in the ball cart.
And Stallone with a real clutch serve there as he's looking to continue his service run here. St. Joe's coming with the outside and Carraro once again, but a beautiful dig there. Here's Petrovitsky, tipped over the front row. Right back to Carraro, tipped over the Baruch front row.
And that's exactly where the base defense has to be on a triple block, Brian.
I agree with you.
When you put up 3 blockers, you have to swing your outside defender out back like that because that's just the only spot open on the court.
And Lopez with a beautiful kill there as he's able to go up but kind of re-angle his body to connect with that right side line.
Yeah, in the first half of the set, Brian, it was like the Bearcat players couldn't get the ball over the small block of St. Joe's Long Island, and now they're kind of connecting with the sets. I'm not sure if it's a higher contact or a higher set, but something's working on the Bearcat offense.
Back set for Carraro. Another roll shot. Justin looking for a down ball there. Going back to Carraro. To Fang Han. Shankar back to Han with the left swing.
Another roll shot from the Bearcats. They need to bring some more energy with these swings.
So Lopez goes to Shankar. Pipe attack. Lopez puts it away.
And like we said, Brian, we just need a little bit more power behind the ball. When the Cats are doing that, they're unstoppable.
Beautiful combination as Baruch ties it here 23-all, and St. Joe's is going to call a timeout to try to slow down the Cats.
We'll be right back.
So we are back in action here in the heart of New York City. Baruch fought back to now tie it at 23-all here in set number 2, and it's been all Baruch here in the latter portion of this set. Now St. Joe's coming from the outside there. Awesome hands, but kept alive. Now Lulian tips it over. Back set for the right side. Shankar, dig. Petrovitsky, 50-50 ball. Kept alive by Shankar. Here's Defang Han. Ball a little bit behind him. Played by St. Joe's. Cross court set to the outside. Carraro, and a beautiful block there by Justin Alulian. So set point for the Bearcats here. Another timeout coming from St. Joe's. So we'll be back in a few moments here.
Set point, Arc Arena, second set. Nowhere I'd rather be, Brian, than right here watching some electric Division III men's volleyball action.
Me and you both, brother. So Steven Lopez now on to serve. He's going to come with a high jump serve. He'll go back row. St. Joe's outside. Attack. No good. Kept alive by Baruch. Pipe attack. Lopez. One-handed dig by St. Joe's. Pipe attack. St. Joe's. Kept alive by Baruch. Here's Petrovitsky now. Down ball. Back set to the right side. Nice block there by Lulian. Shankar going to Lulian. Petrovitsky, tough ball, played. Kept alive by St. Joe's. Now here's Carraro looking to put it away.
Dug by Lopez, it's going to be an outside ball.
And Defang Han had the opportunity. Pretty good defense there by St. Joe's, but hit it out of bounds.
I mean, the Bearcats just need to bring a little bit more power earlier into that rally. It looks like the Fang Han was the first person to swing on that ball other than Steven Lopez.
Yeah.
The Bearcats took about 7 swings that rally.
From a volleyball standpoint, beautiful rally on both sides, but like you said, you'd rather see Baruch attack earlier. So here's Carraro coming with the steam there. A lot of heat behind that one. So Coach Kevin Edwards and the Baruch Bearcats going to talk this one over as now St. Joe's is leading 25-24. So we are back here live in set number 2. St. Joe's now has set point as they lead 25-24 in what's been a lot of back and forth volleyball through 2 sets. St. Joe's took set number 1, and they have who's probably their best server in Paul Carraro now at the service line. Artem Zinkin checking back in for Baruch. Again, the Bearcats now playing a little bit from behind, but they can keep this one going if they get the point here. Here's Carraro, high jump serve, coming with a lot of velocity again. And that one put away by Matt Cole. So the Bearcats drop the second set, 26-24. St. Joe's Long Island now leading 2-0. We'll be back in about 3 minutes for set number 3.
In New York City, there is a place for people that want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, where if you work hard, the possibilities are endless. A place to learn, train, and play. In that order, the City University of New York Athletic Conference. This is where it all comes together. Find your people, be a part of a team, and don't just play the game, change the game. Champions aren't born, they're built. The City University of New York. Be exceptional. In New York City, there is a place for people that want to be a part of something bigger than them.
So set number 3 is just about underway here.
And the story of tonight, Brian, is much like the story of the game against New Paltz. The Golden Eagles have 5 aces and 7 service errors compared to Baruch College's 1 service ace and 6 service errors. If you're going to be making that many errors, Brian, you have to be getting a couple more aces.
Very good point there. As speaking of service errors, unfortunately, that's another one for Baruch.
Number
and again,
7.
Against a very formidable opponent in St. Joe's, Long Island, Jake. You make enough of those errors, you give them enough chances, they're going to hurt you down the stretch.
Well said, Brian. And last set was decided by 2 points, and 1 error into an ace, that can change it.
But Artem Zinkin finding his stuff a little bit here in set number 3 as he strikes first for Baruch.
And that's what we expect to see out of Artem Zinkin, a big, powerful swing.
Here's Lopez now, going back row. Kind of weird spin after the dig there, but kept alive by St. Joe's. Big block there by Zinkin. Lulian, 50-50 ball. Kept alive by Lulian. Now here's Zinkin. And another one for Artie.
The Russian Rocket taking something off that ball, but getting the kill. Looks like we have liftoff, Brian.
So now Lopez continuing his service run here. He'll go back row again, same spot. Outside attack. Shankar is going to set Lopez, and the tip just finds the floor. So just like that, Baruch.
Pablo Picasso out there. Steven Lopez with the paintbrush for the kill, as you said, Brian. And Baruch's out to an early 3-1 lead.
So again, this is where the Cats are dangerous, when kind of all phases of their game are in sync when they're working, when their defensive assignments are staying true. So you just want to see Baruch continue this momentum throughout set number 3 and try to force 5 sets here. As St. Joe's commits the error, that time it's Carraro, just tough shot there, trying to re-angle his body.
Right now it looks like a re-energized Baruch College lineup.
And Lopez really getting Baruch going here from the service line. Is that one another 50-50 ball? Could be a Bearcat point.
And that's a back row attack by the setter for St. Joe's Long Island. He was in the back row, went up to block the ball. Bearcat point. You can't do that, Brian.
I'd say one more point or so out of Steven Lopez, and St. Joe's might be inclined to call a timeout just to slow down Baruch, but let's see. Lopez going back row again. Set to Biggers through the middle, and that's the kind of...
Kept alive by the first Bearcat defender, but everyone else is just watching that ball, Brian.
Yeah, again, a ton of real estate in Baruch's back row, and that's pretty easy for St. Joe's to try to exploit. So now Carraro. He'll go back row. Shankar is going to set to Fang Han. Blocked by St. Joe's. Shankar back set Zinkin. And Artem Zinkin really finding his stride here in set number 3.
He's 3 for 3 in this set, Brian. And that's what you expected all night out of Zinkin against the really short outside block for St. Joe's Long Island.
Yeah, so nonetheless, it's good to get him going here, really when the game's on the line.
It doesn't matter when the Cats start rolling, as long as the Cats start rolling. Newton's 4th law, a cat rolling will not stop rolling.
That one served to the back row for St. Joe's. Here's the outside attack. Off some hands in the front, kept alive by Baruch. Zinkin now has a tough ball to play. Keeps it inside. I had a really good angle on that one, and that did not cross the plane of the antenna, but nonetheless, the official...
I disagree with that call, Brian. I think the official thought he saw one thing, but it really looked like that came inside the antenna from our view.
Again, we don't have the best angle, but for that
that
ball specifically, we have the a perfect angle.
Yeah, I think we have the perfect angle on that ball.
And St. Joe's finding themselves right back in this one.
And as they say in the industry, ball don't lie. So St. Joe's proved it at that point. Maybe the refs got that one right.
Dug by Lopez now. Shankar is going to set to Fang. Looking to angle his body and find that back corner cross court, but unfortunately that one goes a little bit long.
Took a bit of an awkward approach. It looked like he took a righty approach, even though he was swinging with his lefty and got caught off balance there. Sorry, with his left hand, not with his lefty.
So St. Joe's really fighting back now. Then 1 point of tying it. Backside Zinkin. And a big tool there.
What's that? Artem's 4 for 4 now, 5 for 5. Artem has been absolutely lights out in this set, accounting for almost all of Baruch College's points, Brian.
So now Zinkin will draw back to the service line. See with what approach he goes with.
He's
Be a high jump serve. And that one into top of the net, but just so much that I wasn't able to roll over the tape. So St. Joe's will get the ball back, and once again within 1 point. Shankar setting Musayev up the middle. It's good to see Many getting back in the action here.
Yeah, he's been the Bearcats' most efficient hitter this match, so let's see if they can really feed him right now, Brian. Looks like a lot of sets were going to the middle, too, which was a little bit of a misconnection, and Many Musayev has been more of the draw there. And just trying to draw the block, kind of being the decoy.
There's Hahn, dug by Carraro. And that's going to be a tool for St. Joe's. Right. Matt Cole.
Looks like a standing float serve right now.
Exactly what we get. Shankar now going to Lopez. He puts that away pretty easily to the back row. No answer out of St. Joe's. Again, St. Joe's, a little bit of a trip coming from Patchogue. They're looking to, anytime you go on the road, it's a big thing to come away with a road victory. So, but Baruch, if they can have anything to say about it, they'll try to force this one to 5. As Carraro comes with the heat once again, that one ended up in Zinkin's chest and into the bleachers.
Serving sub in for the Golden Eagles, number 10. First time he's seen the court tonight, the sophomore out of Lindy, Thomas Rennick.
Look at you with your Long Island abbreviations, Mr. Jersey boy.
Well, you know, Brian, I went to school full of Long Islanders, so over time, monkey see, monkey do. I've learned the lingo.
And then we all come together here in beautiful New York City, so you got to love Baruch for doing that.
The new downtown they're calling Gramercy right around now, Brian.
As Shankar backs at Zinkin. One-handed dig sent over via the rafters, so that's going to be a Bearcat point. Here's Shankar. We'll go back row to Carraro. Now set to Carraro. Off a combination of Alulian and Zinkin's hands, and that ball is tooled out of bounds.
Yeah, you know, it looks like the Baruch block has been straight up there, Brian, and you really just need to push over the net, especially when you're that much taller than the other player. Just giving them real estate to tool them.
So now Shankar is going to set Lopez. That one goes off Bigger's head as he once again lets his bench know, and that's going to be a St. Joe's point as they take the lead, 11-10. Here's Zinkin now, blocked in the front. Lopez will give it a shot. Blocked again by St. Joe's. Punched over by Lulian, and he's going to find some real estate. Real heads-up move there by the freshman. And you saw the spin on that ball, Jake. It looked like a basketball when you try to spin it on your finger, and Lulian just punched it out of midair.
Yeah, great timing and view by Lulian to see that open, Brian. A real veteran move from the freshman.
So the rookie playing like a veteran. And speaking of veterans, Steven Lopez now serving. As Biggers caught up there with Alulian. Here's DeFang Han coming with the southpaw, puts it away. Just like that, Baruch has the lead again. Let's see if Steven Lopez can get the boys going here once again from the service line. And Carraro is coming with a full head of steam there, and it really seems that the Bearcats have no answer for him.
You know, I don't know what the Bearcats were doing there, Brian. It's like everyone was just watching him swing on a wide open net, and no one thought, oh, let me go block that ball. A little disappointing the Bearcat block on that play, but I'm sure they'll be able to bounce back this point and show them what they're made of.
But yeah, Carraro's really been keeping St. Joe's in it, and not only keeping them in it, but he's been pretty much the X factor here thus far. So Carraro will look to string together a service run of his own. Coming again with another high jump serve. This time back row to Brooks Libero. Sent over on one and an easy layup there for Matt Cole.
You know, you can't pass the ball that tight to the net when your setter's in the back row. Bearcats timeout. They trail 12-14 in the third set, down 0-2. And we're back, folks. If you're enjoying watching the score on the live stream, give a big thank you to our production guy, Mateo Flamio, a lefty-handed pitcher for the Baruch College baseball team. And we are back, folks. Bearcats are down 12-14 as they look to fight back in the third set.
Here's Carraro going back row again. This time the ball gets caught up in the rafters, but played by Baruch. Free ball from the Bearcats. Back set now, coming from the right side. Lopez able to keep it alive. Here's Defang Han. No good.
Ooh, and like that, he's swinging righty, Brian. You never know what he's going to do when he's up there. Unfortunately, it went out.
Definitely hard to defend, nonetheless.
You hear the St. Joe's Long Island coach saying Matt's watching, so let's see if Matt can play a little more defense and do less watching.
Also, from a chemistry standpoint, it's pretty invaluable how long this St. Joe's team has been playing together, as Zinkin is blocked there. But going back to my point earlier about the chemistry, Jake, most of these guys have been playing 4 years together, if not earlier.
4 plus, because a lot of them played club volleyball together and on the same team before even they got to St. Joe's Long Island. That's really the X factor for them.
Of course, and if not club, then high school. You see most of these guys coming from the same high school, and even Coach Kropp coming from Sage Meath. So a lot of his guys came with him, and you really can't speak towards how important chemistry is in this game. And that one's going to be the Bearcats' point.
And that ball was in. Great swing by the freshman. A real tough shot to hit, but he hit it nonetheless. Cutback, full power to 1. Right on the line. Good swing by Alulian.
And Cole is blocked by a combination of Musayev and Han. Defang Han.
The Moose. And the fans are getting into it. Many, the Moose Musayev, crowd favorite.
And Biggers, once again, exploiting that Bearcat hole in the back row there, Jake. I don't know what number you want to call that.
Let's call it 65, a swing between 6 and 5, but that probably would have been a kill anyway, but the Bearcat defenders were moving. Not that they could have played the ball, but you really have to be still. Really have to be still on defense so you can react, as opposed to reacting before you know what's going to happen.
And pretty big service ace there for St. Joe's. And again, Bearcats now find themselves in a 4-point hole, and that's not where you want to be if you're down 2 sets. So not an ideal place, but
still a lot of volleyball left to be played in this third set.
Yeah, so if the Cats can get rolling here once again, make this thing interesting. That one dug by Lopez. Musayev going over on 3. Baruch giving it all they got, but just not enough, unfortunately, to answer this St. Joe's attack right now. So we're going to have a triple sub here. And I don't know if this is Coach Kevin Edwards' way of saying this might be done, but we're going to have a pretty much a clean quadruple sub here. So everyone except Shankar will will leave the floor.
And you know, when your starters aren't getting the job done, Brian, there's nothing wrong with another sub.
So a little bit of a substitution confusion here, which we have seen from time to time. So now...
Yeah, I don't know why the ref called him back there, Brian. Maybe to prove a point, but...
So pretty much a brand new lineup here for Baruch, for the exception of Shankar and the libero. So hopefully that can be the spark plug, as we've seen earlier in the match. Defang Han coming off the bench.
The Bearcats are out of rotation here, Brian. They're out of rotation. Let's see if the refs are going to call it. They didn't, but...
No call there.
That was the right call. Looks like some of the subs didn't know exactly where they were supposed to be.
And big first point there by Baruch, coming with his new look.
And St. Joe's Long Island is arguing that they're out of rotation, but you can't call out of rotation after the point.
That was a big kill there by Zhang, as he will drop back to serve. The freshman out of China. So Matt Cole looking for a back row, maybe caught some hands on the front, I don't know, but nonetheless a St. Joe's point, as they were within 5 of really closing this one out with a clean 3-set sweep.
Bearcats out of rotation again here. I don't know what's going on with the Bearcats, Brian. Luckily the refs haven't called it once.
And nice move there by Shankar. Really haven't seen him be too deceptive, sending it over on 2, but finally with a real nice body fake going up, like looked really routine, like he was going to set it, but then sent over on 2 and just finds the campfire there for St. Joe's. As Michael Higgins will drop back to serve. Higgins now to serve.
Wow, and a lanky freshman on the bench is talking a lot.
As that one's tooled out of bounds once again. It seems like St. Joe's has gotten a tremendous amount of tools out of Baruch.
A lot of inappropriate energy coming out of Pat Stevenson from the St. Joe's Long Island bench right now, the freshman from Farmingville, New York. You know, sometimes when you can't touch the court, Brian, you still try and affect the game by talking smack to the fans.
So everyone's just trying to figure it out here.
And we've been saying it all night, folks. Bearcats have been out of rotation. St. Joe's Long Island has been begging for the past 4 points, and quite honestly, they were right, Brian. Ever since the subs came in, everyone was out of whack. But I don't really think that's something you can overturn. I think you just have to fix the rotation once they're in their spot.
So let's preview our next broadcast while we're still figuring this one out. As let's see here, next match, March 5th, here at the Arc Arena against Trine at 6 p.m. So please be sure to tune in then. And then that following Saturday, March 7th, we have a CUNYAC tri-match between CCNY, York, and of course...
You mean, Brian, 3 games in one day?
How lucky can we get?
Are we allowed to have that much fun in one weekend, Brian?
So yeah, please be sure to tune in March 5th against Trine, 6 p.m. And then the CUNYAC tri-match here, hosted at the Arc Arena, beginning with a 10 a.m. start against CCNY. So, of course, Jake and I will be on air for that. And a lot of big CUNYAC volleyball to be played as we're kind of working out.
Yeah, Bearcats are 2-0 in conference, as is most of the dominant teams in conference, and they really are looking to solidify themselves as the best team in the CUNYAC. And like that, Bearcat point.
And Carlos Rodriguez getting Baruch going, bringing a lot of energy off the bench.
And, some of the St. Joe's Long Island players probably aren't going to touch the court this season, Brian, so they're trying to make the most of being here in Manhattan and on the live stream by saying some rowdy things to get picked up on the mic.
And I'm not quite sure what they're discussing at the table. It might be the libero tracker, I want to say, Jake.
I'm not quite sure either, Brian. Unfortunately, the refs don't talk to us. They only talk to the coaches.
So, still not sure what's going on. I see a yellow card now on the floor. I don't know what that means.
Well, Brian, like soccer, you can get 2 yellows before it's a red, so yellow's just a warning. And, I don't understand how they can be out of rotation after the ref already checked the lineup to play before and said they were okay.
And we are back in action now as Higgins.
Oh, and the jump serve right away. You love to see that from the freshman.
As Carraro coming right back and answering after that big delay. So now Baruch really finding themselves in a tough position here in set number 3.
Cats trail 17-22, but it's not over yet, folks.
No, it's still not over. As Shankar trying to set Zhang from the pipe attack, but that one way long. And unfortunately, Baruch now within 2 of getting swept in 3. Petrovitsky checking back in for Higgins. And a service error there.
And like that, the Cats' hopes are alive to win this 3rd set. They trail 18-23, and now they're in the right rotation too, Brian.
You always love the proper rotation.
And this might be exactly what the Cats wanted, because Sloan Shankar is a very strong server. Maybe he can get a couple points here.
And it looks to be exactly going for that as he goes back row with a lot of steam behind it. Let's see. Bearcats keep it alive here. Shankar back set Petrovitsky. And it's going to be a net violation on St. Joe's. So Bearcats get the point, and they are not done yet. So they trail 23-19, but like you said, Jake, if Shankar gets hot at the line at the right time, man, that's all you really need. Once again, nice cross-court serve there, but Kyle Biggers
Kept alive by the Bearcats. Who's going to take it? Oh, and no one wanted to swing on that ball, unfortunately. Probably going back to Biggers. Oh, no, it isn't.
Now Carraro blocked by Lulian. Arc Arena's going crazy here as they know they're still within striking distance of taking set number 3.
I know this is exactly what happened the last time these two teams faced off. St. Joe's Long Island took a little bit off in the 3rd set and just couldn't regain it. Maybe too little too late, but let's see if the Cats can get rolling, Brian.
Here's Shankar once again, rolling around the tape, and it's good. The service ace for Stallone Shankar.
Yeah, and caught the St. Joe's Long Island players praying that wouldn't come over.
And that one just literally sat on top of the net and then rolled off. So Baruch trailing by 2. We'll be back in a few moments.
And that's what we call a home court advantage, folks. The net tape goes right in his way. Sloan Shankar serves 21-23.
He'll go back row again. Dug by St. Joe's. Here's Carraro. A one-handed dig. Baruch can't keep that alive. So this is match point. Yes, I said that correctly. Match point.
Unfortunately, you are correct, Brian. I can't argue that. St. Joe's Long Island needs one more point to start the buses and get back home to scenic Patchogue, New York. Well, let's hope the Cats can make their commute a little bit longer by taking this third set.
Float serve now, going back row. Shankar. Looking for Rodriguez. St. Joe's keeps it alive. Free ball from the Golden Eagles. Shankar now going outside to Petrovitsky. Misses that one, and St. Joe's takes this a clean 3-0 as they take set number 3, 25-21.
You know, not the outcome you wanted for the Bearcats, but really good to see a lot of young guys come out at the end of the match and give the team new life, and that makes you feel real positive about the future of the Bearcat team.
Yeah, so definitely some positive takeaways here from tonight, and again, let's just take this positively into CUNYAC play. So, like we said, we'll see you guys next week against Trine at 6 p.m., March 5th. Thank you all for tuning in, especially our fans coming from Long Island. And hope everyone has a good night. So for Brian Flannery and Jacob Rudin, roll Cats.
Roll Cats.